Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, one of, if not the most epic season in Survivor history, premiered on February 11, 2010, as 10 of Survivor's greatest heroes went up against 10 of Survivor's most notorious villains. The season started off with a bang as the tribes fought for Flint in the Battle Dig Challenge, resulting in Stephanie dislocating her shoulder and Rupert breaking his toe, though thankfully, neither were evacuated. The heroes won the challenge despite their injuries. On the Villains tribe, Russell Hantz immediately returned to his gameplay from Samoa as he made an alliance with the attractive girls in Danielle and Parvati. However, Rob formed the majority alliance on the Villains, which consisted of all the other villains other than Randy, and he also proved his worth to the tribe as he was a key part in building the shelter. A bunch of alliances formed this episode, as of course the likes of Stephanie and Tom, and Amanda and Cirie were seen as pairs given they worked together in previous seasons, while JT also made final two deals with Tom and James. During the heroes' first night, Sugar kept everyone awake with her constant talking. At the immunity challenge, the villains responded to their challenge loss by winning the first immunity of the season, sending the heroes to tribal. Sugar was the easy target, but she targeted Amanda. However, the pair in Cirie and Amanda felt like now would be a good time to break up another pair in Tom and Stephanie, as they knew that was two votes not on their side. But in the end, the heroes unanimously banded together, as Sugar became the first boot of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains.
Sugar, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 2 starts off with a scare as Rob, who had worked so hard the first 3 days, collapsed in the middle of the jungle, and after Jerry found him, medical quickly helped Rob get back to normal, and he was thankfully cleared to continue. Russell was annoyed that Rob had all the power in the villains as opposed to him, as this was a new feeling. At a combined reward and immunity challenge, the villains once again won, sending the heroes back to tribal. After the challenge, James was heated and blamed Stephanie for the loss, even bringing up her past failures in Palau to prove she was bad luck. Cirie and Candace found themselves as swing votes between JT, Amanda, James, and Rupert as they wanted Stephanie gone, while the trio of Tom, Stephanie, and Colby gunned for Amanda, given all her connections in the game. In the end, Cirie and Candace sided with the former as Stephanie was blindsided after a heated tribal, but gave her tribe a word of advice on the way out.
Steph, the tribe has spoken.
Give some advice. Next time y'all lose a challenge, a little less cursing off your tribe might help.
Keep your mouth shut.
Oh, come on.
James apologized for his actions after tribal, as the heroes desperately needed to regroup as a tribe. On the villains, Rob warned Russell that he was making his alliance with Parvati too obvious, which would be seen as threatening to the rest of the tribe, so Russell responded by hiding the tribe's machete. JT also proved he could be a villainous player, as he caused paranoia within the tribe, telling Candace that Cirie didn't trust her. At the Sumo Battle Immunity Challenge, the heroes dominated, winning all 8 rounds, sending the villains to their first tribal council. Randy knew he was in trouble, as he was the weakest physically, and had no pregame alliances, but the tribe pondered if they should really take out someone like Randy over Parvati, who was obviously a legend of the game. But in the end, similar to Sugar on the heroes, the villains bonded together for their first vote, sending the easy target Randy home unanimously.
Randy, the tribe has spoken.
The villains got back on track at the reward challenge, winning them extra tools and a tarp. However, Russell discovered the clue in front of the entire tribe, and after it was read aloud, the tribe agreed not to look for it, as whoever found it would become the next target. But that didn't stop Russell, as the Idol King looked to find his precious idol, but because of this, he became the new target within the villains tribe. The heroes also found their clue, and the search was on, with the outsider Tom being the one to find it. But Amanda saw him find the idol, and told her alliance that Tom was the one in possession of the idol. At the Roll With It immunity challenge, the villains won their third immunity of 4, halting the heroes' momentum. In a desperate attempt to save himself, Tom agreed to give up his idol if they spared him over Candace, but Cirie immediately put a stop to this and convinced the tribe to stick with the easy split vote on the 2 outsiders in Colby and Tom. But after seeing this Godmother gameplay combined with a warning from Fishback about Cirie in the pregame, JT flipped his vote from Colby to Cirie, and due to Tom playing his idol, Cirie was once again eliminated in an absolute heartbreaker.
4th person voted out of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. Cirie.
Cirie, the tribe has spoken.
JT claimed his flip on Cirie wasn't personal, but the heroes questioned if they could fully trust him going forward. On the villains tribe, Russell continued to look for the idol, and finally, he achieved what he did an incredible 3 times in Samoa, and found the villains' idol. The villains would win a chocolate feast at the reward challenge, but more importantly, James would injure his knee, which was obviously detrimental for the heroes, as they couldn't afford to lose one of their best challenge competitors. At the feast, Russell told Parvati and Coach about his idol to potentially reel them into a majority alliance. The villains' momentum continued at the immunity challenge, sending the heroes back to tribal. Despite James barely being able to walk, the majority took out the outsider Tom in a 5-2 vote, as he became the first winner of the season to be voted out.
Tom, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 6 now, Banana Etiquette, one of the greatest episodes in Survivor history. It starts with Jeff telling the final 15 that both tribes would be going to tribal to vote somebody out, but there would be one winner from each tribe to earn immunity, and the 2 winners would then battle it out for a feast at tribal, along with watching the losers tribal council. Rob and Candace won individual immunity, but Rob beat out Candace in the final duel to win reward for the villains. With Rob in complete control, he got the majority 6 alliance to split the votes on Russell and Parvati, but Russell then told Tyson he was switching his vote to Parvati to save himself, to which Tyson bought, and figured he might as well vote for Parvati as well, to show his potential allegiance to Russell, as he felt like he was on the outside of the majority 6. However, this would turn out to be a game-ending move for Tyson, as he indeed switched his vote from Russell to Parvati, leading to an all-time epic idol play.
I think I'm gonna take the target off of my back. No, not this way. Parvati?
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I guess I'm playing it.
6th person voted out of Survivor, heroes versus villains. Tyson.
Tyson, the tribe has spoken.
The Heroes Tribal was much more seldom, although to be fair, it would have been near impossible to top the Villains Tribal. While Colby initially looked like the easy outsider target, the tribe simply agreed that James was too much of a challenge liability. Combine that with his attitude and lack of banana etiquette, he was unanimously voted out.
James, the tribe has spoken.
Yes, sir.
Rob was stunned at the result of Tribal and questioned the loyalties of his alliance. The bottom 3 of Danielle, Russell, and Parvati used this as an opportunity to reel in Jerry to their side, as they promised her they would take her to the final 4. At the reward challenge, Colby stepped up after getting a second chance, leading the heroes to a 3-0 victory, earning themselves a day relaxing by the waterfall. At the reward, they found a clue to the new idol hidden back at camp, and the 5 agreed to look for it together, and would use it to their advantage come the merge. The heroes continued to unite as a tribe, as they won their second immunity of the season, sending the now fractured villains back to tribal. Jerry and Coach were swing votes between Rob, Courtney, and Sandra, and Parvati, Danielle, and Russell. While Jerry really felt Russell would be loyal to her down the road, Coach was skeptical, so not wanting to betray his loyalty to either Rob or Russell, he put a throwaway vote on Courtney, thus making Jerry the true swing vote. In the end, Russell's final 4 plea worked, as Jerry flipped to his side, getting her revenge on Rob from All Stars, and in a span of 2 episodes, Rob went from a dominant position to a pre-merge boot.
You're a little man.
Rob, the tribe has spoken.
Despite agreeing to look for the idol together, JT went off looking for it by himself, and he would indeed end up finding it. However, Amanda once again saw this idol find, thus forcing JT to tell everyone he was the one in possession of the idol. Tremel suggested that the tribes would be merging, so much so that the villains packed all their stuff with them, believing they would be going into the merge with numbers.
Everybody, drop your expectations. We are not merging.
In a questionable move, the villains sat out Sandra and Courtney at the reward challenge instead of immunity, as they really wanted pizza, but that would backfire big time, as the heroes won the bowling challenge anyway. It's also important to note that the heroes assumed that all the girls had banded together on the villains, hence the reason why Rob was voted out. After the challenge, in a desperate move to save herself and Courtney, Sandra simply told Russell that Coach was gunning for him, and Russell bought this completely. The heroes' momentum continued at the immunity challenge, their second win in a row. The new majority debated between Coach and Courtney, as while they knew they had to keep the tribe strong heading into a huge immunity challenge, Russell didn't trust Coach, and they also figured that taking out another man would make the heroes believe even more so that there was in fact a girls' alliance. At Tribal, the majority ultimately decided that Coach was the better move, sending him to the jury in a 4-3 vote.
Coach, tribe has spoken.
After seeing Coach was the boot, this reinforced the women's alliance theory, with Russell even giving JT the signal that he was in trouble. The villains would end up gaining some much needed momentum as they won a feast from Sandra's favorite restaurant, Outback Steakhouse. Parvati then found a clue to the idol and shared it with Danielle only. The 2 of them went off to search for the idol and Parvati found it, and they decided to keep it a secret between them. Speaking of idols, the heroes, feeling like Russell would be an easy flip come the merge, came up with the brilliant idea to give Russell the idol to save himself. Oh man, if they only knew. At an extremely important immunity challenge, the best outcome happened as the heroes won, which not only evened up the numbers, but gave JT the leeway to make one of the dumbest moves in Survivor history.
I don't even have to find idols. People are actually giving me idols. You don't hand the enemy the idol.
In a forgotten important tribal council, the majority had to decide between Courtney and Sandra, but in the end, they spared the former winner, as Courtney was sent to the jury in a unanimous vote.
Courtney, tribe has spoken.
Look, bitches. See you later.
Time for you to go.
On day 25, both tribes received tree mail with the announcement of a merge. While the heroes were happy to see Russell, they didn't understand why Parvati was still there, to which Russell explained that both he and Parvati played idols at the last tribal. The heroes were convinced Russell was on their side. However, Sandra, who was on the bottom of the villains, filled in the heroes on what was really happening, and that Russell was actually in charge of the villains along with Parvati. So the heroes agreed that they would test Russell's loyalty, telling him one name, while they all put their votes on someone else. At an important immunity challenge, Danielle won the classic pole endurance challenge, securing her safety. Russell gave Parvati the idol, as he felt she was the most likely one to receive votes, not knowing she already had one. The former alliance members of Amanda and Parvati talked about the game, and Parvati told Amanda that she had the villain's idol. And after the heroes agreed to put their votes on Jerry as a safe vote, Amanda further tried to pressure Parvati, telling her to play the idol for herself. However, Parvati saw right through this and knew she wasn't really the target, nor was Russell, as the heroes wanted to work with him, which meant they could only be voting for Jerry or Sandra. With this in mind, let's just say, she made a serious game-changing move at Tribal with her two idols.
Sandra, that's for you. Get out of here, for real. I would just like to increase our odds. So, Jerry, that one's for you too.
Damn it.
Jerry does not count. JT, 11th person voted out and the third member of our jury. JT, that's 3, and tonight that's enough.
JT, tribe has spoken.
Despite being in the minority after blindly trusting Russell, the heroes remained hopeful, as Sandra was still strongly considering flipping to their side. Seeing this, Russell worked on Candace to flip to the villain's side, identifying her as the villain within the heroes tribe. And hey, he's right on the money with that assessment. The final 9 competed in 3 different teams, with the trio of Colby, Amanda, and Danielle winning a night at the home of Robert Stevenson while enjoying a movie, leading to one of the most awkward and staged scenes in Survivor history.
I found the clue in the bowl of popcorn.
Are you hiding under the bed?
But Amanda was really suspicious.
Why am I getting like... Amanda, I'll seriously grab it out of your hand.
Will you just relax for a second?
Then give it back to me. What are you doing? You're a psychopath.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God.
Found it.
Give me back the clue. Can you give it back to me, please?
No.
It was out of desperation.
I'm like shaking
It's
right
your
now.
clue, Danielle. It's your clue. You found it.
Yes, but I would like it back in my hand.
Give it. It's okay.
I need a glass of wine.
Danielle told her alliance about the idol clue, and lo and behold, Russell would be the one to find it, his 5th idol find, and 6 overall in 2 seasons. He showed his idol to Candace to build trust, and even promised her a spot in the final 3 if she were to flip to the villain's side. At the immunity challenge, Jerry won her first ever individual immunity. The villains agreed to vote for Amanda and hoped Candace was with them, especially after hearing from Candace that the heroes were planning on voting for Russell, and Sandra had indeed flipped. When Russell approached Amanda about this, she denied it, but with the heroes now realizing that Russell knew he was their target, they switched their votes to Parvati instead. At Tribal, not only did Sandra end up staying with the villains, but Candace flipped on the heroes, sending Amanda to the jury, and leaving Rupert and Colby in serious trouble.
Okay, Jeff, I know you've been waiting forever to do this. So just do it.
Amanda, the tribe has spoken.
Rupert and Russell got into a heated argument about the ethics of the game, causing Rupert to be Russell's next target. At a must-win challenge for Rupert, he couldn't outlast Parvati, as she once again won the Win It Rains It Pours challenge. Knowing he was in trouble, in a pretty clever move from the big guy, Rupert put a rock in his pocket, fooling Russell into believing that Rupert had found the re-hidden idol, when in reality, Sandra would be the one to find it. At Tribal, the villains split their votes on Rupert and Candace, but Colby and Rupert smartly put their votes on Candace to save themselves, sending her to the jury in a 5-3 vote.
Candace, the tribe has spoken. Time for the go.
Russell was pissed at his alliance that they chose to split on Candace instead of Colby, and decided he had to start playing more for himself now. At the immunity challenge, Russell gained back some power as he won immunity. Wanting to break up the girls and force Parvati to be loyal to him for the home stretch, Russell told Rupert and Colby to vote for Danielle, and threatened Jerry that she would go home next if she voted out Rupert over Danielle. It appeared that Russell was playing too aggressively, but at Tribal, after Danielle accidentally revealed that Jerry wasn't part of the final three of herself, Parv, and Russell, this gave Jerry no choice but to vote her out, as Danielle was sent to the jury in a 4-3 blindside.
Danielle, the tribe has spoken.
Parvati was upset at Russell's overplaying, as keeping around the heroes could be detrimental to their games. However, everyone's spirits were rejuvenated at the reward challenge when the final 6 loved ones arrived, and they would compete as a pair for reward. Jerry and her sister won, and she brought along Sandra and Parvati and their loved ones on a plane trip with a feast. Back at camp, the 3 guys agreed they should form a final 3 to counter the final 3 that was likely being formed between the girls, and they agreed that Parvati had to be the first to go, as she was a massive threat, and Russell convinced the heroes that he could get Jerry on their side to form the majority. However, the Parvati plan was spoiled as she won her second immunity of the season. With Parvati off the board, Russell flipped back to the villains, with Rupert being their target. However, Sandra once again made an attempt to flip to the hero's side to vote out Russell, but this quickly got back to Russell, leading Russell to confront Sandra, but Sandra wasn't scared of Russell whatsoever.
Sandra,
What?
are you with me or are you against me?
I'm against you, Russell.
Okay.
Despite feeling safe, Sandra played her idol just in case and neglected the 2 votes from Rupert and Colby, thus sending Rupert to the jury in a unanimous 4-0 vote.
Rupert, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It's the finale now, and this epic season comes down to 4 villains and 1 hero. Knowing he had to win, the OG Survivor hero Colby gave everything he had, but Parvati would be the one to win her 3rd immunity of the season. Colby gave a fake surrender speech before campaigning to Russell to take out Sandra, as he argued Parvati was the biggest threat in the game, and keeping him over Sandra would give them the greatest chance to beat Parvati at the final immunity challenge. However, at Tribal, the villains simply couldn't let a hero get any further, as the final hero in Colby was voted out in a 4-1 vote.
Colby, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
It's the final immunity challenge now, an interesting one for that matter, as the dynamics of this final 4 was all over the place, so everyone needed to win it, and it came down to a dramatic finish.
Russell hits the post! Oh, man! Russell wins immunity! Russell, Jerry, Parvati, all 3 within inches of the finish.
With Russell safe, he immediately told Sandra she was safe, even telling her this was due to thinking she was an easy beat at the final tribal council.
Russell's keeping me around because I'll never get a single vote. But I don't know about that.
So in a vote between Jerry and Parvati, Russell felt that Parvati would be seen as more of a coattail rider than Jerry, and thus, Jerry's great 3rd outing came to an end as she became the final member of the jury.
Jerry, tribe has spoken.
It's the final 3 now, an unreal finale that consisted of 2 winners and a man who was making back-to-back final tribal council appearances. However, if you thought Russell's final tribal council in Samoa was brutal, that was nothing compared to the hate he got this season.
Russell, did you really just say there wasn't any luck involved in getting you here?
I believe I got here with my strategic play.
Okay. Well, I was just double checking, because you are delusional if you think you can make it all the way to the end of this game without any luck.
If I don't play like that, there's no way I'd be here. If that's what you want me to say, I'm not going to say that.
Would you change anything? What all these people have said and how you're not going to get any votes. Nobody respects the way that you played the game, Russell.
To be a manipulative, deceiving, lying person is very easy. You took the easy way out. And if you think you should be proud of how you got here, you're sadly mistaken.
While Parvati put up a good fight, explaining her game well despite her massive target, Sandra was able to play into the jury's hatred of Russell, even intentionally downplaying her own game to stroke their ego. And months later, in a vote that would decide the first ever 2-time winner, Sandra would be the one to come out on top, beating Parvati and Russell in a 6-3-0 vote to become the Queen of Survivor.
The winner of Survivor, Heroes vs. Villains, Sandra.
Thank you guys so much for watching the epic season of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains in 20 minutes. If you enjoyed it, then please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comments if you indeed think this is the best Survivor season ever. Check out my previous installments of this In Blake miniseries as well, and until next time, have a good one, guys.